Hi, I want to welcome you to Russell School of Ministry. If you're receiving this video, it's because you have been accepted into an amazing 2 years of learning and experience. And so welcome and congratulations. I am Anita, and I provide oversight to residency, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about. There are so many twists and turns of residency and so many variables that it can be quite complicated. And so what I want to do is just kind of meet with you, talk with you a little bit this way to prepare you. And then at the very end of this, along with this, you're also going to receive a link to a form, and I'm going to ask you to fill that out so I can have an understanding of what it is you're hopeful for and how to move forward. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. All right. So how do we even supply residency, and what is residency? Well, I'm going to share my screen with you here, if that's okay with you. Let me get there. Here we go. All righty. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about residency. So what is residency, and how does it work through RSM? Residency is hands-on portion of the RSM program that provides you the opportunity to develop as a leader while doing ministry. Just think of it as on-job training, okay? And so, so with residency, it's not really done at RSM. It's done through residency partnerships that we already have established and that we continue to keep establishing. And what these partnerships are, they're with ministries who have said, yes, we commit to be in a residency site. And so they've gone through a process and they have filled out all the documentation. They are aware of the agreement that they're making. And so they are established partnerships that we currently have and continuously add on. And so that is where residency happens. It's off campus at a residency site. It could be a church, or it might be a nonprofit ministry. It could be recovery ministry or trafficking ministry. So residency sites are the places that students come in and they learn ministry. They develop as a leader while they're doing ministry at one of these established residency sites. Okay. I'm just going to go through a quick snapshot, and a lot of this, we're going to go through all of this again. We'll go through at orientation, but since it's a lot, I want to make sure you have some understanding before orientation. So residency is 2 years and year round. And what that means is when the courses stop, because as you know that through your admissions and through your pre-interview and your admission, you know that the courses usually run 12 weeks and then they take a break. That's not residency. Residency is year round. There will be no breaks. You will follow the schedule of your ministry just like you would if you were on staff. Okay, so it's year round. There is something you're doing every week of ministry or every week of residency. There is no pause until you're done with your RSM program. Okay, now when you're coming in, we're looking at you as if you're coming in for traditional residency, which I said is 2 years. And the 15 hours, or the first year, you're committed to 15 hours at that residency site. You will have a full-time mentor who's investing in you, the same mentor for 2 years. And that first year, your commitment is to that residency site, 15 hours every week. All right. The second year, it increases, as you can see, to 20 hours a week. You should have the same mentor. From your first year to the second year, you are increasing in knowledge and leadership. So when you come through the entry level of your first year, you're coming in as someone who can coordinate, who can lead at a lower level. We are accelerated, so there's not a lot of time for you to learn there. We need to get you moving toward leadership. So you'll have a little bit of time on the front end of your first year to learn the culture and learn more resources in, but they're going to move you really really fast into coordinating something to provide leadership, okay? Because you don't have a lot of time. 15 hours your first year, 20 hours your second year. In your second year, you're going to be functioning more on associate level, which means if your mentor was to be gone for a week, 2 weeks, you could run that ministry. All right. So that's what it is. There's a progression in leadership. And in your 20 hours, you are eligible to be paid for the 20, or in your second year, you're eligible to be paid for those 20 hours. It's not a lot. It's $10 an hour, but it still is some kind of compensation for that second year. And I say eligible because if at any time you become hired at this residency site and you receive a paycheck from them, you are not going to be eligible for an additional 20 hours of residency pay. We don't double dip around here. We love, everybody would love to, but that's not how it goes. Okay. Residency, you can receive up to 18 credit hours. Can be earned through your 2 years of residency. So you're being graded. And we work in quadrimesters. Every 4 months, there's a grade. Every 4 months, there's a final grade. Okay. And so, but at the end of 2 years, you could have banked 18 credit hours in the event that you want to further on and get a diploma or degree with some of the partnership colleges that we have. So there is weekly reporting through weekly evals that both mentors and residents do. Every week, like I said, every week you're going to be doing something. And one of the things you're going to do every week on Monday is you are going to submit a weekly eval for every week that you're in residency. And that keeps your credit, that keeps a credible system for you to earn your credit hours. It also gives us a view into how you're developing and how healthy things are going on your end with your residency. Okay. Real quick, there are 3 stages of residency. Your first 4 months, we consider that pre-residency. It's a time of you just kind of getting acclimated to the school, learning. It is a time that you may ask, well, how do we get connected with the residency sites? How do you assign me to a residency site? Well, during this pre-residency, if you are looking for a residency site, this is the time you're going to be visiting. There'll be a schedule where every week you will visit a different residency to see if this is a place where you can learn and if you're a good fit for them. Traditionally, what that looks like, it's on Sunday morning. You show up early, you attend their worship service, you meet their leaders, they give you a tour, they talk to you about the vision and mission, you ask them questions, they ask you questions. Traditionally, typically, that's how it goes. There are a few ministries that they don't meet on Sunday, and so they might meet through the week, and then you would just know in advance when that is. And if you can attend that, great. If you can't, that's fine too. You're allowed to miss a few of these through your pre-residency stage. Okay. And then the first year of residency is the 8 months after this pre-residency. Okay. And then you'll roll into your second year of residency, which is 12 months, and then eligible for compensation, and you're leading at a higher level. All right. I'm not going to go through this. I will tap on this little pre-residency extension. If at any time during this pre-residency, we sense that maybe you're not ready to move into an accelerated residency, we may hold you back. We may talk to a residency and ask, would they take you on for 10 hours a week? And usually where this is going to show up is if you've not been consistent in your work, if you've not been consistent at showing up for these visits, which are called First Connect visits, if there's inconsistency in communication, if you're slow to communicate, if you are not submitting your weekly evals, to us that says there is a consistency issue and you may not be ready for an accelerated residency. And so we could ask to extend this by and put you into an extension where you might start at a residency site for 10 hours a week to let you get your feet wet and see how it's going to work. Another time we might do this is if maybe you request it. You just want a slower pace. Maybe you just want to do more of a 10-hour high capacity volunteer. You're still getting trained. There's still evals coming in. But the level of expectation is just a little bit lower because it's only 10 hours a week. And I will say that you must apply after these first connect visits that happen in pre-residency. Once you find a residency that you think is a good fit for you, and about a month before it's time for your residency to start, you will begin applying for residency. There's a formal application process and a formal acceptance process with the residency site. It can take a little bit of time, but because we believe this is a great gift that you're receiving, this kind of investment from this residency site, from these mentors. There needs to be a high level of application and acceptance during this time. You're doing second connect visits with them. You're not just visiting one time, you're going back. You need to make sure that this is your place. And they may even ask you to do some other things. Like some of our residency partners have their own documents, their own assessments that they want you to go through. So they know they're getting someone that's going to be healthy for their ministry as well. So there is a formal apply and a formal acceptance process before you start as a resident at a residency site. Okay. I've already said this. Residency is accelerated. Oops. Yeah, here it is. And it is designed to be challenging. Ministry is challenging. It doesn't slow down. The one thing I learned when I was in ministry is from leaving corporate world, where I checked in and checked out, and it was easy for me to be off and easy for me to feel that I was always on the right page, in the right rhythm. Ministry is not like that. I soon learned that ministry is fast moving, constant changing, and most of the time I always felt behind. And that was an adjustment for me. So ministry is challenging. You can be carrying your bucket of what you know you need to get done for the week. And then if the ministry as a whole takes a shift and they dump stuff on top of your bucket, it changes things up. Also, you're dealing with people and their problems are challenging. And so when you go into residency, we have asked your mentors to move you quickly into coordinating, quickly into the field of leadership, not to let you sit long, because ministry is challenging, and it's on purpose that we want it to be accelerated. Now, for those of you say who've already tapped out and you go, well, I cannot go to another ministry and do 15 hours a week and 20 hours the next year because I'm already on staff somewhere. I'm a paid ministry leader. Well, we have an alternative to residency, and that is called MIRA. Okay. And you'll see that it stands for Mentor in Residence Alternative. Okay. And MIRA is for someone who is on staff, cannot leave their ministry, but desires more training. Okay. And they desire credit hours and they want a full certificate at the end of their RSM program. So what we've been able to do with them through working with people who fall into MIRA is that well, let me back it up a little bit. If you know already that you are more of a MIRA person than a field residency person, there's no way you could do field residency, and you're pretty certain that you fall underneath MIRA, then there's a field residency appeal. Okay, until you apply that appeal, we're assuming that you're coming in for a traditional residency of 2 years, 15 hours first year, 20 hours the second year. Until you submit the appeal, we're assuming this is you. Once you submit that appeal, if you feel that applies to you, once you submit the appeal, within 7 days, you will hear back from us if it's been granted. And if it is granted, then obviously you don't do these first connect visits. And then the process begins of trying to find you a mentor. Now, sometimes your mentor may be in your ministry. Maybe there's someone that you can go to and who can mentor you up. Maybe you're at a 25 to 30 hour a week position and you already have a direct report and they keep coaching you up to the next level, then they could be your mentor. And if that's the case, then I'm going to urge you just to stay in field residency, okay? Because you're not going to need to go off campus to find your mentor. If you are not going off your campus to find a mentor, then just remain in field residency. But if you are in a position like some of our past students were, where they were already directors and pastors full-time, and there was nobody within their organization to help coach them up to the next level that they could learn from, or Maybe there was no one, maybe they desired, and through their direct report, their full time, they may have decided that it would be good for you to find a mentor away from us because they speak a different language, and you'll learn more from them than what you'll learn from us, because we all speak the same ministry language. Okay. But then this is Myra. This is for you. But if there is someone that can coach you well and they're already at your campus, then stay in field residency. But if you need to go off campus, because there's no one there to coach you up to the next level, or as a full-time paid ministry leader, you and your direct report have decided it would be best that you find a Myra mentor, then you're going to file an appeal. And then together we look for someone to be your Myra mentor. Now, I mentioned earlier that you're going to receive this form that's going to talk about, it's going to ask you a bunch of different questions. One of the questions it's going to ask is who, if you are applying for Myra, who is it that you would like to learn from? If you have anyone that you would like to learn from, then you want to put their name in there. And then you want to go ahead and reach out to them and see if they would be willing to mentor you. And I can send you, once I know who you are, I will send you documentation for you to understand what it is you're asking them to do. Okay. And then you can relay that to them. All right. There is a little bit of stipend, a little bit of compensation for these Myra mentors who are off your campus, but taking time out of their ministry life to invest in you. There's a little, they're not going to get rich off of it. That's just a little bit more information on Myra mentor. So I'm going to stop sharing this because that's not necessary at this point. So a little bit of compensation for Myra mentors. Now you might say, well, I hear, Anita, that you talked about these established partnerships. And I don't know if the church I'm currently serving at is a partner. And I really don't want to leave them to go look for another ministry. Could they become a partner? And the answer is yes. We are always adding new partnerships on. The only thing we need to do is you need to approach them and say, hey, I would like to stay from you. I think I can continue learning and growing into the leader that God wants me to be. And I would like to stay here to do my residency. And then we've got some documentation that I can send you, or I can send them. And I've got a video that will help them understand what it takes to be an established partner, a residency partner. And we can go that way. All right. So, and the biggest factor in that for people who are willing to be established partners is that they have someone who can be a full-time mentor to you. That's our biggest thing. And that they would be able to compensate you in your second year. Now, we have had students whose ministries that their budget just doesn't allow them to do that second year of compensation. Maybe they're a small ministry. And we have had situations where students go, that's not important to me. I work and I'm not worried about being compensated. I really just want to learn from them. The main thing is that you want to be coached up. You want to continue to learn. A lot of times people who have stayed at their residency site found that it wasn't the best place for them to step into leadership. Maybe they knew them as a young person, or maybe they were a part of that youth group or a part of whatever, and getting the respect as a leader might be hard for them to get there. That's something you have to assess yourself and talk over with the person you would approach to possibly be an established partner of ours. But that's kind of it. It's a lot, I know. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will be sending you a form, and I need you to fill that out and get that back to me so I kind of understand what kind of residency you're looking for and what I should expect. All right. So have a great day. And again, welcome to RSM.